President Volodymyr Zelensky reported that Ukrainian forces are defending their positions against Russian forces in the eastern Donbass and achieving modest gains in some locations. In order to safeguard itself and the entire continent of Europe, he continued in his nightly video message that Kyiv has improved its anti-aircraft capabilities and would do so even more in the coming year. It is impossible to confirm his assertions. Jens Stoltenberg, the Secretary General of NATO, stated that Vladimir Putin has not abandoned his aspirations to manage Ukraine, and advised everyone to prepare for the long haul. According to Stoltenberg, Russia has mobilized many new troops and has demonstrated a willingness to absorb terrible casualties, according to an interview with the DPA news agency. The NATO chief emphasized that this is not over. Vladimir Putin has invited his Chinese counterpart, Xi Jinping, to make a state visit to Russia next spring, as Moscow seeks to deepen its ties with China amid growing international isolation over the war in Ukraine. Speaking to Xi via video conference, Putin said Russia's ties with China are the best in history, expressing his wish to extend military collaboration and inviting Xi to visit Moscow. The call between the two leaders came hours after Ukraine was once again attacked by Iranian-made kamikaze drones. The Ukrainian military said it had shot down all 16 drones, which it said were sent from the southeast and north. Vitaly Klitschko, the mayor of Kyiv, said there were no casualties from the overnight strikes. Belarus has summoned the Ukrainian ambassador, saying it shot down a Ukrainian air defense missile in Belarusian territory. Alexander Volfovich, the secretary of the Belarus Security Council, has accused Ukraine of trying to provoke a regional conflict, claiming it was unlikely that the Ukrainian air defense missile downed on Thursday had entered Belarusian airspace by accident. A Ukrainian military spokesperson said the incident person has been killed by Russian shelling in the Ukrainian town of Semenivka in the Chernihiv region in northern Ukraine, according to reports. Kyrylo Tymoshenko, deputy head of the Office of the President of Ukraine, said on Telegram that Semenivka was left without electricity after 3 strikes. Dmytro Shevitsky, the governor of Sumy region in Ukraine's northeast which borders Russia, posted to Telegram to say 3 settlements in the area were fired on overnight by Russia. In Russia, Vyacheslav Gladkov, the governor of the Belgorod region, reported that an industrial enterprise had been hit by shelling from over the border in Ukraine. Belgorod is to the east of Ukraine, bordering Sumy and Kharkiv oblasts, and also bordering Luhansk. One of the regions Russia claims to have annexed. Was the result the self-proclaimed republics in Donetsk, DPR, and Luhansk, LPR, both of which are occupied areas of Ukraine that the Russian Federation claims to have annexed, have today adopted new constitutions, the Russian state-owned TASS news agency reported. Denis Pushilin, who is styled as the acting leader of the DPR, was quoted as hailing the return of Donbass to the bosom of the Russian cultural and historical tradition. The self-proclaimed republics in Donetsk, DPR, and Luhansk, LPR, both of which are occupied areas of Ukraine that the Russian Federation claims to have annexed, have today adopted new constitutions, the Russian state-owned TASS news agency reported. Denis Pushilin, who is styled as the acting leader of the DPR, was quoted as hailing the return of Donbass to the bosom of the Russian cultural and historical tradition. The richest Russian oligarchs have lost almost $95 billion this year amid strict sanctions imposed by Western nations over the Ukraine war, shedding $330 million a day since the Kremlin launched its invasion. Roman Abramovich, the former Chelsea FC owner, was the biggest loser, with his fortune falling by 57% to $7.8 billion this year, according to the Bloomberg Billionaires Index. Britain has said it has given Ukraine more than 1,000 metal detectors and 100 kits to deactivate bombs to help clear minefields in the latest instance of military support. This latest package of UK support will help Ukraine safely clear land and buildings as it reclaims its rightful territory, the British Defence Minister, Ben Wallace, said in a statement. Vladimir Putin warmly congratulated Turkey's President, Recep Tayyip Erdogan, on the coming new year, adding that mutually beneficial relations between the two countries were developing very dynamically, the Kremlin said. Putin would not wish a happy new year to Joe Biden, Olaf Scholz, Emmanuel Macron, or leaders of other unfriendly countries, it added. European gas prices have dipped to a level last seen before Russia launched its invasion of Ukraine in February, after warmer weather across the continent eased concerns over shortages. The month-ahead European gas future contract dropped as low as €76.78 per megawatt-hour on Wednesday, the lowest level in 10 months, before closing higher at €83.70, according to Refinitiv, a data company.